That's fucking bullshit. Oh, never mind. It's scripted. Oh my god. Holy shit. Well, hello everybody. I didn't realize that fight was gonna end mid-fight. I was trying to save some time before I started recording, and I'm glad I did because I just spent the last 2.5 hours on this fight. And I was just gonna try and get him low, and then if I could do it, I was gonna bring, you know, everybody in. So I had to rush to get my fucking recording going because I didn't realize his ass was just gonna insta-kill me after he got down to low health. But that's okay because, you know what? We did that shit, and here we are. You regenerate like nothing happened. I'm not even ready to record. Hold on. I got my fan going. I got fucking, you know, it's just my microphone wasn't even like up over where it's meant to be. I'm not ready. I was expecting more time. Unlike my hairdo, which should have received its rightful care that day and will never recover. Can my clock even make a difference against someone so overwhelmingly powerful? My legs began to shake. Strategy, resurrections, it all seemed completely meaningless against this onslaught. Faust's voice calling my name has never sounded more hollow. Yeah. You must come up with a new plan. My bodily functions will cease again in a matter of moments. This may be my last meaningful advice to you. And sooner or later, that man from the middle will come for you. Oh. The involvement of an individual affiliated with the middle should not have happened. Well, this is a perfect time for Virgil to come kick his ass and save us. It will not matter how many times you turn the clock. That man will crush your clock as soon as he tires of inventing different ways of killing Heathcliff. Uh-oh. There is a button on the back of your head. Tap it. Hold it. To go to custom total annihilation. We've had plenty on our journey here. The sinners always gave their lives to learn our enemies' weaknesses or patterns while I worked out a strategy from the rear. And the answer would always be somewhere within our reach. Slowly but surely, we'd figured out that answer, and for that promise of an answer, the sinners rose again. But this time was once you have completed the sequence, you have 30 seconds before the charge in your head explodes. In other words, you can self-detonate. That is our last resort, an emergency preventative measure to stop our enemies from getting their hands on the golden boughs. While the explosion radius may be small, the heat and force it generates are powerful enough to melt even the stars of the city. It should be effective enough to cremate the golden boughs as well. What about Virgil? He said he'd come and help out before,
말씀하시면서 알아채신 것 같군요. 현 상황을 알릴 수단도 설령 안다고 해도 앞으로 2시간 가까이 저희에게 오실 방법이 없습니다.
I see that you now have the full understanding of our predicament. We have no way of relaying our present situation to him. Even if he did learn of our troubles, he has no means to reach us within the next 2 hours. What about you guys? When I'm gone, you guys are...
알고 있어요. 제 세계는 여기서 끝이 나겠죠. 그러니 최후에 다다를 때서야 말씀드리는 방법입니다.
I am well aware of the consequences. My world will meet its end here. That is why this is your last resort. I could keep running away. I'll take the boat and try to stay alive until the laws of the lake lets Virgilius cross the borders and...
확률이 완전히 0이라고 할 수는 없겠죠. 하지만 기대값이 낮습니다.
There is a chance, yes, but it is incredibly slim. This was the second time after Siegfried. The overwhelming sense of dread, so overwhelming that it breaks even our fighting spirits. The incident with Siegfried was humiliating, but he wasn't there to obliterate us. He was just there to teach us a lesson. But this man, he's not going to stop until he's completely broken every sinner's will, until he's satisfied, until the humiliation the middle face is recuperated. He will kill.
LCB는 여기까지더라도 세계, 아니, 림버스 컴퍼니는 존속되어야 합니다. 단테, 결단을.
Even though this may be the end of LCB, the world, no. Limbus Company must continue to exist. Dante, you must make a judgment call.
재밌는
Oh.
게 다 있네.
Look what we have here.
몸은 다 터져나갔으면서도 눈빛은 죽지도 않고 계속 일어서려고 하는군.
I've torn you to pieces yet. With burning eyes, you still attempt to rise.
이딴 것들 때문에.
We can't. Not here. Not like this.
역시 째깍째깍 돌아가면 시체가 되살아나는군.
Huh. Tick-tock and bring back the dead, huh?
세상 참 좋아졌네. 근데 저런 기술이 도시에 있어도 되는 거였나? 돌아가면 큰 누님에게 물어봐야겠군.
What a world we live in. Is that kind of tech even allowed in the city, though? Guess I'll go ask Great Sister once I get back. Ishmael, I got bad news. We can't win. I'm sure Ishmael knew that better than anyone, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her the same thing.
닥쳐요.
Shut up.
지랄 말고 계속 살려요.
Stop fucking around and do your job.
다음 기회에 계속.
Give it another try, why don't you?
살려. 다시.
Bring me back again. Ishmael and I were nothing more than entertainment to him. With every turn of the clock, with every revival, he howled with laughter and clapped with joy. Oh. Well, that's cool.
당연한 결과죠.
Oh,
저는
no.
선택받았으니까. 그렇겠죠?
It's just a story, though, thank Christ. I was like, you're telling me I have to do that a second time? Because if that's the case, my friend, I am just not playing this game anymore. 2.5 hours is I think it's enough. Good, you nicked my sunglasses.
하지만 다음 기회에.
Too bad. You'll have to try again. Damn it.
내가 얼마나 많은 파도를 넘어왔는데.
I didn't face all those waves just to...
목숨만 무한정이면 어디까지라도.
As long as I can keep trying, I can. The mist thickens. It expands, devouring everything, our futures, our hopes, and any slim chance of victory we had. And so does the fog of my sight, of my mind. Will this continue until either Ishmael gives up, or until he gets tired of this game. Until he simply walks over and crushes my clock. Could Virgilius piece my shattered clock back? Is that even possible? If I did as Faust told me to and blew up my head, not even a shred of me would be.
슬슬 똑같은 말만 들으니 지루해져 가는데.
Your repertoire is starting to get old.
메인 이벤트. 시계 부수기로 가볼까?
How about we just zoom right past that into the main event? I call this clock bashing.
안 돼! 단테! 뛰어요! 어떻게든 도망쳐!
No, Dante, run! Get out of here!
이 지경을 다 겪어도 아직 다리를 붙잡고 매달릴 정도면 당신 엄청 소중한 사람인가 보다.
That clock fella's gotta be someone so very precious to you, huh? Just look at her hanging onto my leg after all that beating.
관리자는 단테! 단테는 안 돼!
Not the manager. No, not Dante, not Dante. Should I press the button? Is that really gonna be my last ever thought? There was a distant sound like an answer to my question. That solemn sound told clearly through the blinding fog. It was a skiff, one much smaller, much more modest than ours. From beyond the misty veil, the skiff slowly glided across the water in our direction. On it was a solitary figure holding an oar. A giant harpoon was attached to the bow of the ship.
What?
But why? The big brother of the middle, who could probably break that puny skiff in half with his bare hands, stares at it in stunned silence. It became clear that the skiff didn't float here by accident, when the figure on the boat began gently rowing in our direction. Through the mist, we saw something flash atop the skiff. The figure hurled something in our general direction. It flew so fast that no human eye could catch it. I didn't even have time to register that something was thrown before I noticed that something was piercing the big brother's left shoulder. Then a powerful shockwave, far mightier than anything the pirates had fired earlier, struck us. The air itself quaked. It was not a distance that most people would even think about jumping across, but the figure leaped over from the skiff to the lobotomy corp branch gracefully and with agility. The man from the middle, who so far had appeared unassailable, stumbled and fell to his knees. His shoulder was skewered.
당신.
Ugh, you. That's when I finally noticed that what the figure had thrown was a harpoon. A harpoon too immense to be thrown by a mere person, let alone at such blinding speed. The hooded figure's arm was wreathed in a familiar light.
영감탱이.
You old geezer.
호수에서 물고기나 잡는 줄 알았는데 색을 달고 나서 기어코 청새치 고래 하나 잡았다더니 이젠 눈에 뵈는 게 없어서 중지도 고래로 보이나?
Thought you were out there fishing. What, you think you're some hot shit now that they made you a color? Just because you hunted the marlin whale? Are you challenging the middle to a hunt like we're some whale? That it?
나를 공격한다는 게 어떤 뜻인지는 알만한 사람일 텐데 말이야.
You're not the kind of idiot that would attack me without knowing the consequences.
중지도 고래와 다를 바 없지. 하지만 여기 온 것은 그 때문이 아니야.
The middle is no different from a whale. But that's not why I'm here.
그저 놓쳤던
I am
고기를
running out
잡으러
of
왔다.
voices. I'm just after a fish that got away.
아무렴 그러시겠지. 중지는 반드시 잊지 않고 기억한다는 걸 알고 있겠지?
Of course you are. I'm sure there's no need for me to remind you that the middle never forgets.
그 밴댕이 소갈머리 같은 책에 남는 공간이 있다면 적어 놓으세나.
Feel free to write me down in the remaining margins of that nasty little book if you wish. The old man tugs the harpoon launched in the big brother's shoulder. The big brother tried to hold his ground against the harpoon's pull until there was a crunch.
버티면 부서진다네.
Those that do not bend, break. The harpoon tore off his entire shoulder with it. It was a force that would have turned most people into tattered meat.
썩어도 준치군.
Not bad.
다음은 어떨까?
Would you like to give it another try?
그래, 좋아, 좋다고. 물러가지.
Fine. Oh,
기억하는 게 좋을 거야.
fine, I'll leave for now, but don't you forget.
중지는 늘 기억해. 내가 했던 일은 중요하지 않아. 중주에게 등을 돌린 놈들은 중지가 반드시 기억하고 잊지 않는다.
The middle remembers. Doesn't matter what I did here, the middle will remember everyone and everything that dared to turn their back on it.
그리고 무조건 되갚아준다. 그게 어떤 형태든 간에.
And the middle always pays its debts, in whichever form. Ishmael and I had no choice but to watch in silent awe as the old man approached us. The harpoon was still in his hand, and if he wished to strike us with it, we could never hope to get out of its way.
난 이 건물을 삼켜버린 내 고기를 찾고 있네.
I'm looking for the fish that consumed this structure.
자네들도 고기를 낚는 자들인가?
Are you two here also? That's not what he said. Are you two also here to fish? Yes. Please take us with you, please. Wow. How convenient for us to get saved by that guy. The Indigo Elder. Okay.
의외군, 파우스트 씨.
This was unexpected of you, Faust.
다른 수감자도 아닌 당신이 이렇게 누추한 곳까지 거물을 모셔왔을 줄이야.
For you of all sinners to be the one to bring aboard a big shot to our humble abode.
뭐 죽다 살아왔는데 따뜻한 환영까지는 안 바래도.
You have any idea that many times that prick killed us? The least you could do is...
그래, 손버릇이 안 좋은 누굴 위해 개인 상담을 아무래도 다시 열긴 해야겠군.
Yeah, that reminds me. I'll have to reopen my personal consultation hours for a certain kleptomaniac among us. Virgilius' obvious discontent at the involvement of an outsider didn't seem to bother Faust.
작전에 투입해야 하는 인물이라고 판단했습니다.
I considered him indispensable to the completion of this mission.
이유는
And why is that?
나는 그 창백한 고래를 잡을 수 있는 유일한 자일 테니까.
Because I'm the only one who can hunt the Pallid Whale.
그럴 테지.
Of course you are.
쪽빈
The Indigo Elder. Okay.
즉색이라는 말씀이요? 내가 지금 즉색 두 명과 한 공간에 있다는 말인가?
Indigo? He is a color? Thou meanest to say that I, at this very moment, am sharing a space with not one, but two color fixers?
호수 어딘가에서 고래들을 잡으러 떠돈다고 들었지.
I heard that you were wandering the Great Lake to hunt its whales.
마지막으로 들려오는 소문에 따르면 오재앙 중 하나인 모든 것을 꿰뚫는 청새치 고래를 낚았다 하더군.
And last I heard, you hunted one of the five calamities, the all-impaling marlin whale. The old man grunted. It was neither a confirmation nor a denial, but that was the way the old man was. Everyone understood that.
정황상 황금가지는 호수를 표류하는 고래에게 먹혔습니다.
All circumstantial evidence suggests that the golden bough was devoured by the whale stranded at the Great Lake.
외곽에서만 보였다던 오지양 중 하나인 그 창백한 고래입니다.
Yes, that very same pallid whale of the five calamities, normally observed in the outskirts.
역시 그렇겠지. 결국 그런 흐름일 테니까.
Of course. That's how these things always tend to flow.
시간을 많이 뺏겼네. 본론으로 들어가시. 나는 창백한 고래를 잡길 원한다.
We've wasted much time, so I'll be blunt. I wish to hunt the pallid whale.
그리고 우리는 남는 게 시간뿐이지.
Yes, and time's all we have.
또한 저희는 그 고래가 어디로 향할지 알고 있습니다.
Moreover, we know where the whale is headed.
당신은 그 고래를 잡기 위해 오랫동안 관찰하고 기회를 엿보며 나름의 방법을 터득한 분일 테죠.
And I am certain that you have spent a significant amount of time observing and learning that whale to hunt it.
이건 어때요?
I've got a plan,
원한다면 믿기든 뭐든 되어드리죠.
and I'll do anything to make it work, even if you want me there only as bait.
그 방법은
And this is how we'll do it. The crowd fell silent when Ishmael finished explaining her plan.
미쳤군. 아까 혼자서 제일 많이 처맞고 나더니 아예 단단히 돌아버렸어.
You're mad. All that thrashing's finally sent you off the deep end.
이건 내 목적일 뿐이에요. 겸사겸사 가는 길에 황금가지가 있는 거고.
I'm just going there for my mission, and the Golden Bough just happens to be in the same direction.
당신들 알아서 결정해요. 관리자님의 결정이 제일 중요하겠죠.
I'll leave it up to you. Well, to the manager, since their decision matters the most.
아무튼 이 회사나 저나 목적을 달성하려는 방법을 모색할 뿐이에요.
This company, me, we're both just trying to find a way to reach our goals. That's all this is.
그리고 딱히 이렇다 할 방법도 없잖아요. 안 그래요?
Besides, does anyone have a better idea?
나는 반대야. 저걸 정상적인 생각이라고 들어주는 것부터가 잘못됐어.
No, can't agree to that. We're making a mistake by even entertaining that balmy idea.
한 가지 질문이 남았네.
I must ask you one last thing.
붉은색. 자네도 이 낚시에 함께 하는가?
Will you join us to fish, Red? The Indigo Elder suddenly broke his silence with a question.
물 밑에 사는 비린 것들을
Oh?
사냥하는 취미나 조이에는 없기도 하지만
I'm not experienced or particularly skilled at hunting marine life, but
그런 문제보다 우선
Oh.
다른 게 있어서 말이야.
I have other, more important concerns that prevent me from joining.
최악의 상황이 아니라면 내가 앞에 나서는 일은 없을 거다.
So, no. Unless the worst comes to pass, I will not take part. The old man rose from his seat and walked off as though he was about to leave.
잠깐 기다려줄 수 있겠나?
Wait a moment.
길잡이가 참여하지 않더라도 승사는 있을 수 있다. 계획을 면밀히 짠다면 우리끼리 충분히 수행할 수 있을 테니.
We don't need the guide. With a proper plan, we are more than capable of completing this mission.
그렇게 섣불리 포기하는 것은
To give up so quickly is...
거절한다고 말한 적 없네.
I never said I am.
창백한 고래를 잡으려면 이 요란한 비명을 지르는 배로는 힘들 것이.
This loud, screaming ship won't do in our hunt for the Pallid Whale. I don't think it's that loud.
가까이 그리고 은밀히 다가가야 하므로 좁으면서도 튼튼한 배가 필요하지.
To hunt it, the boat must remain near and covert. A narrow and sturdy boat is what we need.
아니 그러면 왜 베르길리우스 씨가 안 도와준다니까 바로 승낙을 한 거지?
Huh? So all you needed to hear was that Virgilius wasn't going to help out? Why?
그러게. 오히려 손이 줄게 되어서 거절할 줄 알았는데.
Right? This could go so much smoother if Virgie was with us.
말씀하신 배는 저희 쪽에서 구비하고 있습니다.
We can...
필요하다면
Oh.
한 척을 더 내어드리죠.
We can prepare a boat that fits your specifications should you request it.
아니, 나는 내 배로 좋게.
That's alright, I'll sail on my own skiff.
그 낚싯배? 고래가 꼬리만 퍼덕이면 다 부서질 것 같이 생겼던데.
That old dinghy. That whale could split us in half with... could split in two with a light wag of its tail.
아니 저 배 상태는 구려 보여도 어지간해서 부서지지 않는 배다.
No, that skiff. It may not look like much, but it is extremely durable.
엑스사의 합금을 사용했구려. 구하기 힘든 재료였을 텐데.
I see that X-Corp's alloys have been used in its construction. That could not have been an easy ingredient to come by.
혹시 그 또한 특색이 가지는 혜택의 일종인가? 소문으로 들었는데.
Oh, another benefit of having a color bestowed upon thee, then. I have heard tale of... instead of entertaining that bombardment of questions, he approached me.
보아하니 지금까지 호수에서 선원들은 자네의 시계로 인해 목숨을 부지해 온 것 같군.
I noticed it in the earlier scuffle. That clock seems to have been you and your crew's lifeline.
어떤 원리인지는 모르겠으나 특이점의 일종일 테지.
I know not how it works, but I presume it is a singularity of sorts.
하지만 그 고래에게는 통하지 않을 능력일 거야.
It will not work against the whale.
그러니 지금부터라도 모든 것을 되돌릴 수 있다고 맹신하지는 말게.
So start now. Get used to the idea that not everything can be brought back. Why? Why did you accept even after Virgilius opted out? There's a question I've been unable to let go.
어째서 베르길리우스 씨의 도움 없이도 작전을 수락하였냐고 물어보네요.
Dante asks why you accepted our request, even after Virgilius opted out of it.
질문이 틀렸군.
Oh.
오히려 붉은색이 나섰다면 거절했을 것이네.
You asked me the wrong question. I would have denied your request had Red agreed to take part.
붉은색과 내가 나선다면 시간은 걸리더라도 반드시 그 고래를 잡을 수 있겠지. 둘 중 하나가 죽을 테지만.
Let's say that Red joined us. We would together battle the whale in a long and arduous struggle. In the end, the whale would surely go down, taking one of us with it.
그래서 붉은색이 나선다면 거절할 생각이었네.
That is why I would have opted out if Red chose to join.
그건 내가 잡은 것이 아닌 게 되니까.
Because the hunt would no longer be mine.
그게 무슨 말이야? 이해가 되지 않소.
Whatever doth thou mean? Thy intentions elude me.
한계에 부딪힐 수 없다는 뜻이네.
I mean that I would not be able to test the limits.
한계? 지금 무슨 말을 하는 거예요?
The limits? What are you even talking about?
필요한 모든 수를 가용해서라도
Look, to hunt that whale, we have to prepare with everything we have and...
지도에 그어진 도시. 그 테두리 너머에 있는 외곽까지가 사람이 두려워하여 그어버렸던 선이라면
Out of fear, humans drew borders even to the outskirts that lie beyond the city limits.
그 뒤에는 두려움을 넘어 이해조차 하지 못할 별들이 있는 곳이 있지.
Beyond it are stars that lie beyond the edge of understanding, beyond even the concept of fear itself.
나는 선을 넘어 그 이해에 맞서려는 어부라네.
I am but a fisherman seeking to cross the borders and challenge that very understanding.
설마 외곽 너머를 말하는 건가?
Are you talking about what lies beyond the outskirts? Its outreaches?
그 고래는 모든 걸 집어삼키고 재앙을 부르고 다녀요. 그걸 어떻게?
That whale devours everything. It brings nothing but calamity. How could you...
자네는 먹잇감이 되어 본 적이 있는 선원이군.
Ah, so you have been a prey once, sailor.
이곳에 있는 수많은 호수도 모든 걸 집어삼키고 재앙을 부르지.
Countless lakes here also devour, summon calamities.
언젠가 중요한 갈피에 놓이게 되었을 때 자신의 목숨은 전혀 아깝지 않다는 생각이 들게 된다면
If you find yourself at a crossroads, if you find that your life is worth nothing in the face of what lies before you,
지금 했던 이야기를 다시 한번 떠올려 보게.
recall this conversation.
나는 원래 조언을 해주는 것에 익숙하지 않아.
I'm no good with advice, never was.
그럼에도 몇 마디 던져 놓는 것은
Still, I thought I'd part a few words.
같은 노를 저어가는 사람에 대한 동질감이라고 해두지.
As a fellow seafarer, suppose I felt a bit of kinship. As per the old man's directions, we rode on the skiff prepared on Mephistopheles. I saw Ishmael moments before boarding the skiff on Mephistopheles. This was Ishmael's plan, but I had no way of knowing what she was really thinking. Had an inkling, yes, and so far I've been going along with those vague guesses that led to disasters. So I had to ask her myself. Ishmael, what do you really want?
내가 원하는 건
What I really want? Oh, I see another vision of Ishmael. She was hiding it well from the other sinners in Virgilius, but I could clearly see what she really wanted, her true desire. Ishmael, you... She was lifting a body from the waters. A body that was torn asunder, shattered bones, strips of muscle, tissue, flesh. Ishmael trembled with elation before what looked like the captain's mutilated corpse.
뭐예요?
What?
얼른 가죠.
Come on, let's get going. I mean, she's not wrong for that. I get it. Look, I get it. I totally get it. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, I had to, adjust my microphone and stuff. Like I said, I wasn't prepared to record yet, so I went ahead and took the time and got everything set up. I should probably talk about the things I did between now and the last episode. I got this identity I dispensed it. I used all of my Ishmael tokens, and I dispensed that identity. I hope that wasn't a total mistake, but I read online that it was the best identity to use against the fight with Ricardo, so I was like, fuck it. I have enough to get it. I might as well. So I did. I also got... Well, I didn't get, but I also used him, and then I think everybody else was the same. I just used a couple different people, like Mersault was there, Otis was there, obviously these two, and I did change the identity back because it did more blunt damage. And blunt is what they were weak to. So that's where we are. Let's keep it rolling. Oh, I also went back and beat that one that I didn't do the first time, so we're back on track.
잠수 준비 끝.
I should probably change my team back, but that's okay. They did good. I trust this. I almost skipped that. I like muscle memory from fucking repeatedly skipping earlier. As we discussed earlier, we took a different route from the Elder Indigo. Yeah, sure. We were first to arrive. Okay. We were to first arrive at separate destinations for our plan. I just read that so wrong. Something's floating over there. Not long after we crossed the line where the lake water turned dark gray, we noticed something pale peeking out from the lake.
저건 섬인 걸까요? 뭔가 많네요.
Are those islands? There's a lot of them.
암초일 수도 있다. 어쩌면 이번 호수는 이러한 장애물들을 피하며 항해하는 게 중요한 곳일지도 모르겠군.
They may be reefs. Perhaps that is this lake's challenge, to navigate it while avoiding them to the best of our abilities.
크기가 들쭉날쭉하긴 하네요. 저건 암초라고 보기엔 크기가 엄청 커요.
Well, they sure do look rocky, but they're too big to be called reefs.
뭔가 느껴지는 것이 있어, 단테.
Do you sense aught, Dante?
저것들이 몰려있지 않은 공간을 찾아 나아갈 수도 있겠지만 그쪽이 틀린 방향이라면 작전이 물거품이 될 테니.
We may attempt to discover a path that does not lead into an area cluttered with such obstacles. Yet that would require us to hazard a path unknown. It may lead to this plan's ruin.
대략적인 방향이라도 알려주시면 그걸 기반으로 예상 위치를 계산해 보겠습니다.
If you can sense even the most general direction of the Golden Bough, please relay it to me. I can use that to approximate its location.
쪽빛 노인이 준 정보도 있으니 예측은 어느 정도의 정확성이 보장될 거라고 판단됩니다.
I can assure you a degree of accuracy, now that we have with us additional data provided by the Indigo Elder.
뭐야, 시계 대가리가 나침반 역할을 하는 거야? 진작 그랬으면.
Huh? Why couldn't you have just been a magic compass to begin with, Clockhead?
호수라는 특수성을 가진 광활하게 넓고 트여 있는 공간이라 시도되는 방법일 뿐입니다.
They are able to do this only under the peculiar conditions of the Great Lake, which has very few in the way of obstacles.
육지의 도시는 지상과 지하로 온갖 건축물과 그 안에 높은 밀도의 사람들로 가득 차 있기 때문에 황금가지를 근거리가 아니면 느끼기도 어렵고 가리킨 방향대로 간다 해도 거대한 벽이 막고 있으면 의미가 없죠.
I was totally reading midway through. The urban areas of the city are dense with structures, both high and low, and into the underground. The higher population density also complicates matters. Considering that Dante can detect the Golden Bough only in close proximities, considering that there may be insurmountable obstacles in our way, their sense will not be of as much help there.
결국 다른 데에서는 다시 시계 대가리라는 거구만.
So they're back to just being the usual Clockhead anywhere else. Okay, so that's why. That's why I could feel the Golden Bough here, even when it was so far away. I raised my finger and pointed toward the general direction of this vague feeling.
확인했습니다. 해당 방향으로 선회하죠.
Confirmed. We will turn the ship around in that direction. Ishmael wordlessly steered the ship according to Faust's words. It grew ever nearer to the island, or a reef. A heavy silence descended upon the sinners. Until Ishmael gasped with a sudden realization.
이 호수였구나.
It's this lake. There was an incomprehensible look on Ishmael's face. Maybe I saw unrestrained joy, the joy of finding something she's been searching for so long. Such an overwhelming, all-consuming happiness that her facial muscles began to twitch on their own. Maybe I saw extreme fear, the fear in the face of destined, unavoidable horror. The lake's splashing waves hit her trembling face and rolled down her cheeks. Or maybe she was sweating from dread.
이스마엘, 무언가 깨달은 정보가 있는 건가요?
Ishmael, do you have any new information to share with us?
네. 여기서 어떻게 해야 할지는 너무 명확하게 알고 있죠.
Yeah. Here, I know what to do from here. I know exactly what to do.
오티스 씨, 저는 후미에 있어서 확실하게 보이지 않아요. 그러니까 지금 우리 배 앞에 어떤 것들이 몇 개나 어느 정도의 크기인지 제게 빠짐없이 알려주세요.
Otis, I can't clearly see what's in front of us from back here. Tell me precisely what you see. Their numbers, their sizes, all of it.
암초들 주변에는 거센 해류가 흐르고 있으니 빠르게 피할 방법을 파악해야 하는 건가? 알았다.
Trying to avoid the wind currents and the wild currents and find a safe path through around the rocks? Understood. I am just not on my game right now. Otis nodded empathetically before rising from her seat to gaze at the path ahead. She balanced herself as the ship rocked.
350m 가량의 민무늬에 번들거리는 초소형 암초 하나. 그보다 500m쯤 먼 거리에 혹처럼 툭 붉어진 모양이 상징적인 중간 규모의 암초 하나.
About 350 meters ahead, minuscule, plain pattern, glistening rock. About 500 meters ahead of that is a medium-sized rock. It has a bump on top of it that stands out.
계속하세요.
Continue.
그리고 그것과 얼마 떨어지지 않은 거리에 구멍이 숭숭 뚫린 거친 질감의 대형 규모의 섬. 자세히 보니 그런 것들이 서너 개 뭉쳐 있는 모양새군.
And not so far ahead from there is a large island with a rough porous surface. Oh, upon closer inspection, it's an archipelago of 4 similar islands.
좋아요.
Good. Ishmael began fiddling with the steering gear and the engine's output levers as though something had clicked in her mind.
좋아. 첫 번째 암초는 성공적으로 통과했다.
Good. We made it past the first rock.
뭔가 암초라기에는 생각했던 질감하고는 다르네요.
Its texture was a bit different from that of a normal rock, wasn't it?
잘 저건 단단한 암석이나 흙재질로 만들어지지 않았군.
GE. That's not the texture of a rock or even soil.
두 번째도 통과.
We just passed the second one.
야, 앞에 덩치 큰 놈하고 길쭉한 놈한테 가려져서 안 보여서 그런데 재질이 뭐가 이상하단 거야?
Oi, what's so weird about the texture? Can't see over the big boy and the long one.
저건 살아 숨쉬는 거다.
That there is a living, breathing thing.
뭐?
잠깐. 물개. 니놈 어디로 좋다는 거냐? 이대로면 세 번째 암초에 부딪힌다.
Wait, Swabby, watch where you're steering this ship. We're gonna crash into that third rock at this rate.
맞게 가는 거예요, 오티스 씨. 우린 거기에 내릴 거거든요.
And that's what I'm gonna do, Otis. That's where we get off.
잠깐. 저거 말하는 거야? 저 기분 나쁜 구멍이 숭숭 뚫린 섬?
That rock? That creepy porous rock over there?
야, 쳐들었어도 혼자서만 난리치라고. 저 위에 사람은커녕 나무 한 그루도 없는데 뭘 얻겠다고 내려?
Oi, feel free to crash into a rock on your free time, but don't take all of us with you. There's not even a single tree up there, let alone person. What the bloody hell are we anchoring there for?
생각하는 방식부터 틀렸어요, 당신.
You gotta screw your head on in a different direction in the Great Lake, Heathcliff.
뭐가 틀렸다는? 으아!
What are you talking about? A loud shock and an ear-splitting sound of the skiff scratching and sliding against something cut Heathcliff off.
야이씨! 운전 똑바로 안 해?
Do you even know where you're going, woman?
아니, 맞겠군.
Oh yes, she knows.
흰색. 설마 이스마엘 씨?
Oh, wait. That white color. Ishmael?
네, 애초에 이것들은 섬이 아니에요.
Yeah, those aren't islands or rocks. What we thought were islands suddenly rumbled, vibrating as ground tremors from an earthquake.
전부 어느 고래의 일부예요. 이건.
They're all part of a whale. A colossal creature shudders as it wakes from a long slumber. Oh, ooh. Okay. Let's kick their asses. It's only 2 waves. We got this. Yeah, we're still using the other team, but hopefully it is good enough to keep up. They did fine last time.
기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
Good kill.
이 공격은 꽤 먹혀든 것 같아요.
뭐같이 한 저항일 뿐이다.
저희가 이길 것 같아요.
Yeah, they're all dead.
불길 속으로. 그 오물을 다 죽어라.
Excellent work, team. It's only stage 1 of 2, so we've got another one to go, but we've certainly got this in the bag. In 10 waves at least, almost assuredly.
조금씩 끝이 보이네요.
Yeah, this team is not terrible.
얼얼하지? 정신 못 차릴 거야.
Big hits. This is kind of a cool move that she has. Kind of neat. Our team's getting roughed up a little bit because they have more attacks than we have people to attack and block. That's crazy. They are almost all dead again. All right, it's actually a pretty good idea that we stuck with this guy, or this team, I should say, because they're still weak to blunt damage, it seems. Also, this is an insane move that's probably going to kill everything. As long as there's still things alive, I guess, which there won't be. All right, never mind. It's still a cool move, though. Maybe we'll get to use it next time. Nice. Well done, well done, well done. Great. The Pallid Whale. Okay. We have 4, 5, and 6. Okay, 3 stages left. Ooh, we're almost there. This might be the end. Might be the end of this canto, this episode. That'd be cool. 2 waves. Again, we got it.
관리자님도 알다시피 저는 언제나 수십 명의 몫을 해내고 있으니까요. 알겠어.
Good. Big hits.
완벽한 한 방. 시원한 걸.
Good damage.
오, 머리 좋다 단테. 방금 완전 좋았어.
Yeah, it's not a bad lineup. It's not a bad lineup. I still want to get... A lot of our people just have really shitty ego identities, I've noticed. Especially when looking up, like, teams to use for, you know, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, obviously you want to use, you know, whatever, like, so-and-so's... I think it was, like, I don't know, Rhodia had, like, an identity, like, the Dissy, I don't know, whatever. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's... And, like, everybody's agreeing, like, oh, yeah, that's so OP. That makes any fight easy, blah, 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 blah. It's like... Yeah, that's great. I don't have that. You know, it's like, and then it's like there's like 10 other identities that are also being talked about. And it's like, yeah, I don't have any of those either. So hopefully I can make do. But it's why I grabbed the Boatworks Ishmael, because that one was mentioned and that one did have a lot of ingredients. And it's not bad. It's fine. Definitely feel like it would be better when used in combination with other sinking and or tremor identities, but don't have any of those either, so gonna have to make it do. I think Yi Sung is the only other identity I think that I have that uses those. Okay. Speaking of, sorry boy, this is yeah, that's bad. All right, he's dead. Kill. Okay, there's only one guy left. Well, I was gonna say I can use this, but he is not going to get to. Or maybe he will. Maybe everybody's gonna get the shit kicked out of him. Nope, never mind. Let me use it. Okay, if everybody does shitty damage, though, maybe I will. I just want to see it. It's cool. It's a cool move. Nope. Never mind. Bummer. That's fine. We will have. I promise. We will have when we get to see it. Maybe we'll get to fight the whale with it.
알아들었어. 땅덩어리인 척하던 이것들이 전부 고래였고 이 숭숭 뚫린 구멍 같은 것들에게서 인어가 튀어나온다는 것도 알겠어.
Right, I get it now. All those rocks were actually whales, and I get that mermaids pop out of the pores.
근데 피해갈 수도 있는 싸움을 왜 굳이 하는 거냐? 어?
But I think it's a loony thing that. Why are we even drawing their ire, huh? We could have just gone around them.
스트레스 해소? 뭐 그런 거냐? 두더지 잡듯이?
Looking to let off some steam, hankering for a game of whack-a-mole all of a sudden, is that it?
그럴 리가 있나요?
Of course not.
제가 알고 있는 게 이 방법뿐인 거예요.
This is just the only method I know.
설명할 생각으로 그렇게 말했을 거라고 믿는다.
You better be ready to explain what you're talking about. Heathcliff, furious, wasn't the only sinner looking at Ishmael with expectant eyes. There were Otis and the other sinners who all looked at her for some reason. Ishmael, and I was too, of course.
저도 이걸 진짜 하게 될 줄은 몰랐는데.
I also just didn't think I'd actually be doing this.
전설 같은 이야기였죠.
Well, so there's this legend-like tale.
전설이요?
Legend?
대호수를 떠들고 여기를 터전 삼는 사람들이 많은 만큼 나누어진 호수의 종류만큼이라고 해야 할까요?
Each lake of the Great Lake has its own culture, with many wandering and choosing to call those places their homes. So, naturally, there are as many tales as there are lakes.
뱃사람들에게는 그 호수에 대한 이야기가 구전되어 전설처럼 들려오곤 해요.
But there's that one tale of a certain lake that is passed down orally from sailor to sailor, just like the legends of old.
이 부유하는 울렁이고 어두운 잿빛 호수. 이곳에도 노랫가락에 맞추어 불려오던 전설이 존재했죠.
The legend of the gloomy gray lake of wafting and rumbling. Sailors sang the legend of that lake, passing it down for years upon years.
해무에 숨겨져 있는 공간을 열기 위해 두드려라.
Doom and hew thy veiled path to misty seas.
창백한 그 색을 찾기 위해 고래들을 울게 해라. 알맹이를 들춰내라.
The gloom, and let whales draw their pearls in search of pallid hue.
고래의 울음소리 갖춰지면 드러나리.
Tomb shall be thy misty path, heeding the weeping whales.
그래서 그게 당최 무슨 뜻이오?
Whatever does that mean?
지금처럼 이 호수에 있는 구멍 고래들을 깨워서 인어들을 다 잡으면 창백한 고래에게 가는 길이 열린다는 말이에요.
It's simple. Hit the poorest whales to wake them, draw out and hunt their mermaids, and the path to the pallid whale should clear of the mist.
그러니까 그걸 지금 믿으란 거지. 너도 믿고 있고, 어?
Do you really believe that? You just expect us to believe that hogwash?
야, 살다 내가 이런 말을 꺼내게 될 줄은 진짜로 몰랐는데.
Blimey, didn't think I'd ever get to say these words before my deathbed, but...
너 멍청하냐?
Are you stupid?
야, 고래를 깨우는 거랑 저 빽빽한 안개가 거치는 거랑 대체 무슨 연관이 있냐? 적어도 어느 정도 말이 되어야 할 거 아냐?
Listen. What does waking these whales up have anything to do with getting rid of that thick fog? It's got to make even a little bit of sense, no?
히스클리프 씨가 인과관계를 가지고 논파하고 있는 장면은 정말 진귀하군요.
Heathcliff discusses the correlation between actions and consequences. This truly is a rare experience indeed.
왜 안 좀 닥쳐라. 나 진지하니까.
Shut up, smartass. I'm serious.
시간 안에 호수에서 벗어나지 못하면 파도가 밀려온다는 사실은 뭐 말이 되나요?
And you think that the law that sends waves after us if we don't cross the borders at the exact right moment makes sense?
정해진 공간에 도달하기 위해 직선 항해를 하지 못하고 왔던 항로로 바로 되돌아가지도 못한 채 여기저기를 돌아다녀야만 하는 건 말이 되고요?
You think that the law that makes us go in circles before reaching our destination, the law that doesn't let us go back the way we came from, makes any sense?
제가 처음부터 말씀드렸죠. 대호수에서 상식을 찾지 말라고.
I've been telling you this whole time. Common sense has no place in the Great Lake.
여기는 그렇게 돌아가는 곳이에요. 그냥 그런 거라고요.
That's just the way this place works, okay? Just, You just have to accept that.
좋아. 그건 네 말이 맞아. 근데 그런다고 해서 좌편이 뭐니 그렇게 딱딱 정해져 있는 도시 규칙이랑 그런 두루뭉술한 노래랑은 완전 다른 거 아니야? 그딴 걸 믿으라고?
Fine, I'll give you that. But they're like the laws of the city. As outlandish as they are, they're still strict laws that can be calculated into those variable coordinates or whatnot. What you're blathering here is some vague old song. Am I supposed to believe something so absurd?
내가 직접 겪고 봤으니까.
Yes, because I've seen it myself.
그 옛날 아무것도 모르는 치기 어린 항해사가 직접 배를 탔었고 직접 전설이 사실이었다는 걸 깨달았으니까.
Years ago, when a young, stupid but motivated sailor boarded the ship, she had the most unfortunate opportunity of witnessing this very legend with her own eyes.
그렇게 창백한 고래를 마주쳤으니까.
Because that's how she saw the Pallid Whale. Heathcliff fell silent, scratching his head. The rest of the sinners also nodded and began whispering.
나는 네가 진짜 마음에 안 든다.
Oh, I really don't like you.
비쳐요.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
정말 죄다. 마음에 안 들지만 적어도 말다툼에서 이기겠다고 거짓말을 하거나 흰 소리를 늘어놓진 않는다는 건 알아.
I don't like any of this, but I know that you're not the kind of lass to lie or tell tall tales just to get the upper hand in a petty squabble.
어디 끝까지 해봐. 일단 이 방망이로 두더지 같은 새끼들 후려치는 건 할만하니까.
Fine, let's go all the way to the end. I'll keep whacking those mole-like things with this club.
나도 납득했다. 하지만 다음엔 그런 이유가 있다면 먼저 말해줬으면 좋겠군.
I can also accept your explanation, but from now on, I would appreciate it if you could share your knowledge with us before doing anything.
어떤 의미에선 확실한 방향을 알게 되어서 다행이라는 생각도 드는군요.
I'll try. In a way, I am relieved that we now have a definite path forward. Yeah, well, let's just go find our next whale.
명령하신 대로.
Yes, Executive Manager.
청원, 승선.
All aboard, men.
과연 해무가 마치 쪼개지듯이 거치고 있구려.
Truly, the ocean mist is splitting as though a blade has hewn it in half. Once we eliminated the mermaids of the last whale singled out by Ishmael, the fog slowly began to fade. Behind it was a different lake beyond the Great Sea.
마침내.
Finally. All right. We got this. We got this.
당연한
Okay.
결과죠. 저는
This is another
선택받았으니까.
story, and then there's
그렇겠죠?
one more. It's got to be the final battle, right?
날씨가 제법 굽다.
The weather there is quite hostile. Mersal was right. The lake beyond the borders was nigh pitch black. The waves crested tall, rising and crashing violently under the thundering rainstorm.
풍랑 또한 심해지는군.
The wild winds had begun to sway the boat. Isang's face was starting to grow pale.
저희가 정말 할 수 있을까요?
I'm starting to wonder if we can really do this.
언제나 할 수 있어서 했던 적이 있었냐?
Do we ever let that stop us from trying?
그건 그렇지.
I guess that's true.
진입하겠습니다.
All right, heading into the zone.
이 호수의 파도는 신경 쓰지 않아도 되나?
Are there any laws of the lake that we must be mindful of?
이 앞에 있는 구역에 대한 규칙이나 파도의 종류는 저도 몰라요.
I don't know the laws of that lake, nor its waves.
해무가 열리는 모습, 그 안에 파도 치는 시커먼 호수는 기억에 있지만
I remember the way the fog split open. I remember the obsidian sea and the endless tempest.
전설이 실제하는 모습을 지켜본 선장이 흥분해서 떠들던 연설과 고래를 잡기 위한 채비를 서둘렀던 기억만 남아 있어요.
But the rest of it? All I remember is that the captain was excitedly delivering a speech at witnessing the legends come to life, and that we were all busy preparing for the whale hunt.
그러니까 이 앞부터는 진짜 모험입니다.
So, what awaits us ahead is a real adventure. we'll be sailing blindly into the night.
그럼 모든 걸 정면으로 맞서야만 되겠군.
Then we'll have to face everything head on.
네, 파도가 오면 정면으로 부딪힐 겁니다.
Yes, if the waves come to claim us, we will face them head on.
그 고래가 나타나도요.
Even the whale.
아직까진 조용하네요.
No signs of that whale yet, though.
그때는 호수에 진입한 지 몇 분도 되지 않아서 그것이 공격해 왔어요.
Back then, it attacked us mere minutes after we entered the lake. Everyone was as tense as they could ever be, looking around nervously.
저건 뭔가요? 뭔가 길고 높은 게 있는 것 같은데.
Wait, what's that? There's something there, something tall.
가까이 다가가 보는 걸 추천한다. 내가 일어나 광원을 가까이 비추겠다.
A close approach is recommended. I have a source of light to improve our visibility. Marcel got up with a lantern and pointed the light toward where Sinclair indicated.
하나가 아니네요.
There's several of them?
여기 뭐지? 호수 한가운데 저런 게 떠 있을 필요가 있나?
What's that? Hell, who put them there? What are they even for?
등대 같은 건 아닐까?
Maybe they're like lighthouses?
근데 그렇게 보이기도 하네요.
Lighthouses? Yeah, I can kind of see that. You remember seeing anything like that, Ishmael?
네, 기억이 흐릿한 정도가 아니라 저런 건 아예 본 적이 없는.
No, I don't even have a hazy recollection of it. I've never seen it before in my...
이스마엘 양, 그대도 갑작스레 뱃멀미가 도지는 것이오.
Ishmael, has the nausea of the swaying sea gotten to you as well?
안색이 무척 창백하오만.
Your face has grown rather pale. I knew that can't be true. A seasick sailor only exists in jokes. Besides, Ishmael was doing fine just mere moments ago. Then she must have had a sudden realization.
그렇군. 이런 모습이었던 거였어. 일부만으로도 저렇게.
I see. So that's what it looked like. Even a small part of it is a terrifying realization.
어떤 건데 그래요?
Oh, what is it?
알기 싫어도 알게 될
Are
거야.
those his teeth? You'll find out soon enough, even if you don't want to.
저건 헤일인가?
There, a rogue wave ahead.
청원! 잡을 수 있는 건 전부 꽉 잡고 있도록!
All hands brace. Grab onto what you can. Before we even had the chance to say anything, a leviathan of a wave rose to its crest, then crashed onto us from above, and sucked us deep into the lake before throwing us back to the surface.
운이 좋았군요. 그대로 가라앉을 확률이 더 컸을 텐데.
We were lucky. There was a high chance that the following vortex would have dragged the vessel deep underwater.
아니,
I didn't even see what was down there.
방금
I clicked too fast. Lucky. You saw what was down there. That was... everyone okay? Everyone's soaking wet, nearly hyperventilating, but mostly awestruck by what we've just witnessed.
이탈자는 없습니다만
We have everyone, but...
방금 본
what we just saw down there were...
등대 같은 게 아니라 모조리
They weren't lighthouses, they were
엄청나게 큰 고래들의 꼬리였군요.
tails of colossal whales.
아, 진짜 그만하고 싶네 이거.
Wow. Okay, I really want to give up now.
고래라는 게 저 따위로 생긴 거였다는 걸 모를 대로 돌아가고 싶어.
I want to go back to the time when I didn't know what the whales really looked like.
이 호수는 고래들이 잠들러 오는 곳이었던 건가?
So this is the lake where the whales come to sleep.
그래. 목을 기울이고 잠들고 있으면 그 부분이 저렇게 높게 솟아오를 수도 있겠지.
Yeah, if they're deep in the water with their necks bent like that, I could see their tails rising tall over the surface.
하지만 이 소란스러움을 눈치채지 못할 리가 없어.
But there's no way they missed this commotion.
기울고 있어요.
The ship is... We're keeling over.
이제 저것들이 깨어날 거예요.
The whales are waking up. We're finally here. I think that's what Ishmael whispered. But the storm, the waves buried her voice deep into the lake.
쪽빛 노인이 작전대로 무사히 합류했다면
If the Indigo Elder made it here as we planned.
저게 고래란 말인가?
Over yonder. Is that the whale? We didn't even have to wonder. We didn't have to wonder even for a second about what Don Quixote was screaming at. An entire herd of entities, each dwarfing every single whale we've weathered throughout this journey, emerged from the waters all at once. In unison, they began migrating in a singular direction. To witness something like that was enough to make even Mersault gape with plain bewilderment.
여기까지의 작전은 성공인 것 같군요.
Looks like things are going according to the plan.
그렇다면 우리도 이야기되었던 대로 행동하지.
And we'll have to do our part.
저기.
There. There was a whale that stood out even among the herd of the ineffably immense whales. Pallid as the pale death, its hide thick with scar tissue. That's a massive whale.
유독 상처가 많군.
That one's particularly scarred.
찾았다.
I found it.
역시 그 사람의 말이 맞았어. 그때 우리가 피쿼드호가 냈던 상처 자국이 그대로잖아.
Yes, he was right. The wounds, the scars that Pekon made, they were all still there. I assume that you have finally located the whale.
그렇다고 생각됩니다.
I believe so, yes.
언제나 그렇다. 작전의 성공률은 형편없이 낮을 테지.
As always, the chance of success must be minuscule.
그렇습니다.
Indeed it is.
노자비!
Oarsmen! Ishmael thundered. Ishmael? No louder than the thunder itself, as though her personality itself had suddenly shifted. Her voice seemed to overwhelm the very storm itself.
대답해! 노잡은 놈들!
Answers, you dogs! Oarsmen!
그래.
Aye!
목표는 저 흰 것이다! 총력으로! 저!
Set route to that pallid thing! Full speed ahead, row!
총력으로 저!
Full speed ahead, row! Even Otis was swept up in this sudden turn of events, repeating after Ishmael's bellowing commands. Is this what Ishmael was like when she sailed the lakes, or... Or is this the captain?
불빛이 보입니다. 쪽빛 노인이군요.
I see light. It's the Indigo Elder. The old man in his skiff was sliding across the waters toward the whale.
잘 듣게.
Listen well.
잠에서 깬 나머지 고래는 전부 던져놓은 미끼를 향해 갔네.
The rest of the awakened whales have gone after the bait I have laid for them.
작전은 성공적이다. 이제
Then the plan worked. Now, it wasn't clear whether it was the thunder or the old man's bellow that had awakened the whale. Its eyelids began to lift.
이런 걸 이렇게 가까이서 보는 건 오랜만이군.
It's been so long since I've witnessed anything like this up close. It was an eye of astronomical proportions, so immense that it no longer resembled an eye, but a reflective mirror of the world.
직접 보는 것을 고대했지. 이 눈칼.
Oh, how I wish to see you eye to eye. The old man, harpoon in hand, draws closer to the whale with a grim, stony expression. Ishmael also aims her harpoon at the great whale, her face nearly tearing with uncontainable joy. Some sinners tremble with fear while others prepare themselves. All of it, the world, contained in a single reflective eye that stretched even beyond our peripheral visions.
자, 물고기야. 너도 미끼를 물어라.
Now here's your bait, fish. Bite on it.
물 수밖에 없을 거다. 너는 언제나 그래 왔으니까.
I know you have no other choice. Biting, devouring's all you've ever known.
노자비! 더 빨리!
Oarsmen, split the sea with your oars.
내가 헤아리기 힘든 세월을 살아왔으며 내가 이해하지 못할 곳에서 태어났음을 존중하마.
I respect you, Pallid Whale. I respect that you have lived years in numbers that I cannot even begin to imagine. I respect that you hail from a place beyond my kin.
하지만 난
But
이 기회가 지나가기 전에 이 몸으로 너와 맞서 이해의 끝으로 향할 작정이다.
I will take this chance to stand before you, to challenge you. And with this challenge, to the edge of understanding, I will row. The giant harpoon soars across the black sky like a bolt of levin and strikes the Pallid Whale.
지금이다. 배를 힘껏 저어서 나아가자.
Now is our chance. Row on, row on. Ishmael rows tall and alone, looking straight out beyond the speeding boat's swaying bow, harpoon in her hand. I know it's
너를 다시
bow. I
마주치면
think it's bow, right?
무슨 생각이 들까? 많이 생각해봤었어.
I've been thinking, ever since then, about what feelings you might dig up from my heart if I saw you again.
근데 의외로 복잡하지는 않네.
Ugh, but this feeling is much more straightforward than I expected.
반갑다. 미 빌어먹을 고래 새끼야.
Nice meeting you again, you fucking whale! Compared to the old man's harpoon, the harpoon Ishmael hurled was like a needle. But once struck, as though its body was racked by an immense, unbearable pain, the Pallid Whale's maw opened and the air itself began to vibrate.
입이 벌어진다.
Its maw opens.
가세나, 난 고기잡이를 시작할 테니.
Go. I will now fish this beast. Every sinner heard the other man's voice. Every sinner begins rowing with all their might, in desperation, as though death itself was in our pursuit, as though it was our fate, our destiny to row. We were sucked into an endless abyss, and a rapid vortex pulled us into the maws of the beast, tenebrous as well as a well under a moonless sky. There was a deep noise, and like a droplet in sea, we melted into the fathomless dark.
들리나? 작전은 어떻게 되었지?
Acknowledge, acknowledge. How goes the plan?
들리나? 어이,
Acknowledge. Hey.
아무래도 무전기가 정말로 맛이 가버린 모양이군.
Looks like the radio's broken for good.
걱정이야.
Mm-hmm. Worrying. Well, this is it. Final battle. Time to kill this motherfucking whale. Oh, that was that thing that I missed. Into the dark. 536. Oh yeah, that's right. It ends in a mirror dungeon or something, doesn't it? Right. Well, that is probably going to be where we end it for today then, because I do not want to spend another hour doing a mirror dungeon, so I won't. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. I upload daily at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. As always, I hope you'll have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next episode. So long, everybody.